Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, newly elected Long Beach City Prosecutor Doug Haubert.
Opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Charter Communications nor its sponsors. We recognize our obligation to present opposing points of view by responsible spokespersons. For information, please contact the director of program.
She stands in the face of evil and will not lose hope or faith. America, the land of freedom, is still the home of the brave. So raise the banner, call Old Glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison. The Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years. And Long Beach Magazine. Coastal Living, City Style.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight. Our guest for the whole show is the new City Prosecutor for the City of Long Beach, Doug Haubert. Doug, welcome back to Straight Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I know there's a lot to talk about, but we've read recently about gang injunctions and a major advance that you and your colleagues performed for the city. So tell us about that.
Well, sure. Last month we announced our latest gang injunction. Our gang injunction program, I think, is one of the most innovative things we do here in Long Beach because it targets criminal members of the street gangs that are really causing the most significant problem on our streets. We're really targeting the hardened criminals who are causing all kinds of problems.
And I know we have a population of about 500,000 people and about 5,000 gang members in town. So about 1% of the population are in gangs.
And a very disproportionate amount of the violent crime is committed by gang members. So it's a population we need to focus on.
And so this injunction does what?
Well, the injunction is actually a civil order. We go to court, we get a civil order that targets a criminal street gang as defined in the penal code, and a court will issue an order restraining them from engaging in certain behavior. In addition to illegal behavior, there are some things which may seem like innocent behavior, hanging out together on the street corners, sometimes just drinking alcohol in the public areas. A lot of things that you and I may not think are very serious when it's done in a gang context, it's done to intimidate people in the neighborhoods and in the communities. So we get a civil order restraining them from engaging in that behavior, and when they violate that order, it's a misdemeanor crime, and we can prosecute them for up to 6 months in jail.
And there are given named defendants in the order, specific gang members, or is it just members of the gang?
Well, the case names the gang, but every gang member, to be subject to the order, you have to be personally served with the order. You have to be given an opportunity to opt out of that order. So the people who are on the injunction already know it. No one can be targeted for the injunction unless they've been served and have been given that opportunity. And we are only serving the most violent gang members, the most active gang members. And I haven't mentioned the gang name. It's the North Side Longos and the Sereno gang, which is really an alliance of gangs. This is the first time anyone has targeted an alliance of gangs like we have here in Long Beach.
I read somewhere that some gang members who are subject to the injunction then choose to move out of the community because they don't want that problem.
Well, some certainly do. It definitely curtails their behavior. Once we started serving the order, we noticed things got very, very quiet in the north side of Long Beach. And by the way, the order only applies in a certain safety area, a targeted area. And so once the order was on the street, once people started getting served with it, they either stayed indoors or they moved out or they quieted their behavior, which is really what we're trying to
Well,
accomplish.
outstanding. Here's a photograph of the press conference with you and the chief of police and the mayor and other police personnel announcing the injunction.
And I have to say the police department has been a great partner in this. This is really a tool for law enforcement. We enforce it, but it's the police on the street that are doing the job of keeping gang members at bay.
Do you anticipate more of these types of injunctions in the months to come?
I do, and I should mention, we're the first to name the Sureños. The Sureños are an alliance of gangs, and I think we need to do more because it's one of the biggest problems. It's a growing problem, not just here in Long Beach, but outside. We have to go after these alliances and make sure they don't get a foothold in Long Beach. We have to keep them out of our borders.
Your philosophy, you lead 15 lawyers in your office. Your philosophy is the one that's the marching orders. What are you telling the troops?
Well, I remind them what a privilege it is to be a prosecutor. We have a great job. We have a very rewarding job, a very fulfilling job. Our job really is making a difference in the community. And as the city prosecutor, one of the things that I feel grateful for every day is the opportunity to actually make our community a safer place, a better place to live. And I just remind them of that. It's a very powerful position, but it's also a very fulfilling position. There's no one in my office that isn't there because they want to do this. They want to be prosecutors.
Did you bring in some new people after you won the election?
I did. Due to budget cuts, I only brought one person in who was new, and he was actually a prosecutor and had worked in the city attorney's office. He's been with us for about 15 years. He's a very experienced attorney, and he's done a great job in reinvigorating and I think giving us a newness in the office that we need.
And just for the record, the role of a prosecutor is not necessarily to secure a conviction in every case, is it?
Well, you're absolutely right. The prosecutor is different than any other type of attorney. We not just have a duty to a client or a duty to advocate, we have a duty to justice, and I take that very seriously. And we often, as facts come out, we don't believe that a crime occurred, we will dismiss the case. So we have to do that. We cannot bring charges and prosecute a case unless we truly believe a crime occurred and it needs to be addressed in court.
And your cases are brought in the name of the people of the state of California.
Just like the district attorney's office, we prosecute state law violations, we also prosecute city code violations. And we do prosecute in the name of the people, and I take that very seriously.
So if at the end of the day, if a jury decides that there was not sufficient evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to convict, you've still done your job. The jury has that obligation, actually.
Well, yes, obviously I'm disappointed. I don't bring a case unless I truly have a conviction that the case is right and that the person should be convicted. But
ultimately you respect the will of the jury.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the way our system works. Yeah. I respect that very much.
Okay, we'll be back with this discussion after these messages.
Electricity is different from any other product we use. We can't store it. We must use it wisely, but can't do without it completely. And there's no substitute for this special form of energy that brings us light, comfort, and progress. That's why California needs new standards that can keep utilities strong, guard against another power crisis, and protect consumers from the kind of shortages that often affect other commodities. Because electricity is different.
Getting kids to care about economics is easier than you think. You just need to find a connection. Like how the Port of Long Beach supports 1 in 8 jobs in our city alone, and how the Port's commitment to going green is creating even more new jobs. So the Port of Long Beach? Cool. My no texting in class policy? Not so cool.
The Port of Long Beach, investing in jobs, investing in you.